We are beginning the second project, which is Regatta, by creating a new file. You should have already downloaded your zip file for Regatta from the Student Files webpage. I have already created a folder in my Works in Progress folder for the Regatta. We're going to create a new file called Sailboat. It is going to have one artboard, letter size. It is supposed to be in inches, so if you come up with points or picas, please change that to inches for your measurement. The color mode must be CMYK, and it needs to have high raster effects, and say OK. We want to make sure that this is centered and visible on your board so that the template will place right in the middle. So double click your hand tool, which will center your artboard in your screen. And then we're going to go to File, and we're going to Place. And I've already navigated into my WIP folder, into Regatta, to get my sketch. And I'm going to place that as a template. Double click the template icon to open up the layers option box and deselect dim image. This is not a very dark drawing to begin with. It's a pretty light sketch, and so the more that we can see of the sketch, the easier it's going to be for us to follow it, and say OK. Layer 1, which is the layer we're going to be drawing on, double click on it and name it Boat Drawing. Save your file as an Illustrator file named Sailboat in your Regatta folder. Now we're going to use the pen tool to start tracing the sketch. Remember that an anchor point marks the end of a line segment. There will be handles on most of the points which will determine the shape of that segment. Make sure that you read the segment on page 91 entitled Understanding Anchor Points and Handles, which will refresh your memory on how to manipulate the curves that you create using your pen tool. Zoom in on your sailboat a little bit tighter so that you can actually see this much more clearly. You want as much real estate visible as you possibly can. It's much easier to deal with the drawing when you can see it very closely instead of trying to work on a very tiny screen. Before we begin drawing, make sure that your corner widgets are turned off. We don't want to deal with the corner widgets at this time. They're very good for drawing corners, but almost everything we're going to be doing is going to be a curved line, and at this point they will be confusing, so make sure that they are turned off. We're going to begin by drawing the boat shape first. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter on that so it's a little easier to see what I'm doing. I'm going to pick up my pen tool. Make sure that you have the basic pen selected, and make sure that the stroke is set to 1 point, that you have a black stroke, and that the fill is set to none. Start by clicking on the upper left-hand corner. Click again at the bottom left corner and drag down and to the right to get the line to match the curve of the drawing. Click and drag again from the bottom right-hand corner of the boat shape. Click again on the third anchor point and release the mouse button without dragging. Clicking on the smooth point again will convert this to a corner point. So the outside handle is going to be removed. Now you can click on the fourth point and drag to create the proper curve. Now you're going to click on the original point without dragging to close the shape. This is going to be a sharp corner, because we didn't click and drag. We're going to make some adjustments by using the direct selection tool. You can click on the handle for the 4th point, hold down your Alt key first, and drag this around until you can match that curve better. We could go in and make adjustments to this line as well if you'd like. You can drag this to match it up a little bit, but to be honest with you, the lower part of this boat is going to be partially covered by the waves when we place it into the other drawing. So it's not as important that this follows that exact line. We're going to work on the sail next, so let me scroll up a little bit, and I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. I'm using the shortcut keys Control and Spacebar. Add my Alt key to change this to a minus sign, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And now taking the pen tool again, I am going to click to make 3 anchor points for the corners of the sail. And connect. Hold down your Alt key and click the right segment of the sail and drag out until the curve matches the curve of the drawing. Do the same with the other 2 sides of the triangle. The Alt key will allow you to bend a line and turn it from a straight line into a curve. Next, repeat what you did to create the sail on the left. Review editing anchor points using the control panel on the bottom of page 96. Using your pen tool, you're going to place a new anchor point to the left of the bottom horizontal line and draw a line that continues out past the right edge of the sail that intersects the sketch line. Drag, just click to here. Hold down your Control key and click to the side to deselect. Holding down your Option Alt key, you're going to bend the line to match what's in the sailboat sketch. Come on. No. Well, that's being piggish. So I'm going to have to adjust my line a little bit. Don't think it, there we are. Just a little bit of adjustment by using my Control key to access the Direct Select tool, and I can make that adjustment. You can also use your Escape key in between your drawings to release the pen tool. Make sure you read the bottom of page 98, Drawing with the Curvature tool. Remember that when you're drawing curved lines, the Curvature tool can also be used to create and edit complex paths without manually manipulating anchor points. The Curvature tool gives you something that looks a little like a rubber band that will show you how your drawing is going to look before you get a chance to even finish creating it. And you will see, instead of straight lines, you can see how curves are going to run a little bit more. You have a little more of a preview of what you're going to be drawing. And it's something you may want to experiment with on your own. Make sure that you save your drawing at this point.